I've always believed that we know less about our neighbors than we like to think. Sure, you wave at them, exchange polite smiles, and maybe make small talk in passing. But when it comes down to it, how much do we really know about the people living just a wall away? What I experienced last year made me rethink everything about human nature and left me questioning my own sense of reality. Let me start from the beginning. I moved into my current apartment last year after a rough breakup. It wasn't the most glamorous place, but it had charm, an old building in a quiet neighborhood with just 4 units. Each apartment shared walls with the others, so the building wasn't particularly private, but the rent was affordable, and I figured I'd make it work. The first few days were uneventful. I met my upstairs neighbors, an elderly couple who were friendly enough, and the guy next door, a mid-30s programmer who worked from home. The fourth tenant was someone I only heard about in passing. Her name was Maria. People described her as quiet, which in hindsight should have been a red flag. The first odd thing I noticed was the tapping. It started a week after I moved in. Late at night, when everything else was quiet, I'd hear a rhythmic tapping coming from the walls. At first, I thought it was pipes, but the sound didn't follow any logical pattern. Some nights, it would be faint and distant. Other nights, it felt like it was right behind my headboard. I mentioned it casually to my upstairs neighbor, Mrs. Walker, one morning. She gave me an odd look but didn't say much. "Old buildings make noise," she said, her tone too dismissive. A few days later, I heard the tapping again, this time accompanied by something else, a faint whisper. I couldn't make out the words, but it was unmistakably human. My heart raced as I pressed my ear to the wall, trying to hear more clearly. The whisper stopped abruptly, as if whoever, or whatever, was on the other side knew I was listening. About 2 weeks after the whispers began, I had my first encounter with Maria. It was late afternoon, and I was coming back from the grocery store. She was standing at the base of the stairs, staring at the wall with an intensity that made me stop in my tracks. What happens next will haunt you. Watch the full story now on Frightful Murmurs.